Good evening, good evening, good evening to you legends. Happy Thursday to you all. Hope you have had a sensational day and are ready for tonight's webinar. Happy New Year to you. This is the first webinar of the year and I'm absolutely jumping out of my skin. Webinars, I have realized, I've had a awakening. They take so much time to prepare, but it is a labor of love. I was telling Sarah tonight that I've put lots of new ingredients into tonight's webinar. I've put a lot of different things into it, and I'm so excited to present it because I've been working on it flat out for the last couple of days. So really want to say thank you to every single one of you for joining. We've had over 200 people register for this webinar. So again, I really want to thank you. I know life is busy. Some of you might actually be on holidays and attending this webinar, but if you're anything like me, you are back at it, you are back in the groove, and so I'm really grateful that you have joined me tonight for the webinar. Now, we've just ticked on 8 o'clock, so I'm going to honour everyone that's here. I'm going to get stuck into this. I have put together, normally when I do webinars, I do a lot of this. I do a lot of freestyling, just a lot of talking at the screen, and I'm still going to be doing that, but I am going to run predominantly off slides tonight because this is all new content. One of my mantras, particularly when I'm putting out new content, is that I run off slides, because if I don't, we'll all be here till midnight tonight, because as you can probably tell, I get a little bit fired up about these things. I get a little bit excited, and so tonight I'm running off slides. Hope you're okay with that. I'll duck in and out of the slides. I'm still here with you live on the air, but just for everyone's time and peace of mind, I'm going to run off the slides. So let me bring the slides up and have a pen and paper handy for tonight, guys. Make sure your pen is poised, because with any of the webinars, if this is the first time you've joined one of my webinars, there's always a fair bit of work to do. There'll be a lot of listening involved, but there's always some work to do, and some real deep thoughts are going to be necessary tonight. So if you've got any distractions around you, could be a little bit tricky. I really want you to get deep inside tonight and really get the most out of tonight's webinar. So let me get a screen share up. Let's make sure I get the right one up. Let's have a look. Here we go. All right, now, for those of you that are on social media, if you don't, you might be friends with me personally on Facebook, but I don't do much exceptional life stuff on my personal page. So if you haven't signed up to, or not signed up, like the public figure page, it's simply facebook.com/Marcus D. Pearce. So just if you haven't already, go ahead there and jump on board there. Now let me make sure I'm getting this up and running right. Here we go. All right, now here we are. The one, how doing less in 2015 will give you more of a life. This is something that really came to me over the course of the Christmas New Year break. And I really just had the idea about a week ago that this was what I was going to share on tonight's webinar. So that's why I have been going hammer and tong ever since I started back on Monday in preparing this, because I had some pretty big thoughts over the Christmas break, had some deep insights, and so this is what I want to share. Now, I'm going to take questions at the end of the webinar, but at any stage during the webinar, feel free to put your questions in the comments box. I'll be asking for a lot of interaction over the course of the webinar. My experience with webinars is that you guys are really good at actually helping each other out with the answers. You're a really helpful team. So if you've got people, if you're putting in questions, don't be alarmed if other people that are on this webinar help out, because it does seem to be a really big advantage of having such a really cool group. Alrighty, so tonight, what are we going to go through? We're going to go through the complexity, or why complexity is the enemy to life fulfillment. We're going to go through why most people are running around like headless chooks and they're not even aware of it. We're going to go through how a genius, and as you'll see shortly, how Steve Jobs turned one of the world's most prestigious companies in Apple, made billions doing so in doing less rather than more. We're going to go through how to set your own life up in 2015 to create experience and have more fulfillment than ever before. And finally, at the end of the night, I'm going to share with you a slightly weird morning ritual that does work wonders. And as I say, don't worry, no one will see you doing it. Now, most of you will know who I am, but it's probably important that I share, and it's polite if I share my story, introduce myself properly, particularly for those of you that don't know me all that well. Now, to give you an idea, I've got two hats in my professional life. I run the Wellness Couch podcast network. So I'm the CEO and the executive producer for the Wellness Couch. Think of a podcast network as an online radio station. There are 9 podcasts that we have at the moment. There'll be 10 or 11 in the next couple of weeks. There's a little exclusive for you. And we have 9 of them at the moment. We have about 1.25 million downloads a year. We are Australia's #1 podcast network. And so think of it, as I said, as an online radio station. I host 2 of these podcasts or radio shows myself, one with Damien Christoph called 100 Not Out, which is all about mastering the art of aging well, and another called Inside the Champion's Mind, helping you overcome mediocrity in the pursuit of being world class. I'm a journalist by trade, so I have a background in print media, radio, TV, and obviously online. I grew up, for those of you that don't know, wanting to be the next Eddie Maguire or Bruce McAvaney. I was obsessed with football. Some would say that I still am. And I really thought that since it was pretty clear that I'd never become a professional football player, that I would do the next best thing and commentate the footy. However, as you'll see here, I did end up working at the Footy Show with Eddie Maguire, and here we have James Brayshaw and Gary Lyon, for those of you footy folk that are out there. But I really did realise pretty quickly that this career wasn't going to be something that I wanted for the rest of my life. This photo was taken 15 months after I met my now beautiful wife, Sarah, who really did help me see the light in a lot of things in my life. You women, you are incredible creatures. You're so wise. And Sarah did teach me a lot. Now, 6 months before this photo was taken, Sarah and I had actually gone vegetarian. I'd lost about 7 kilos. I was 82 before this photo, and in this photo I was about 75 kilos. But in this photo, I was still smoking. So I was a smoking vegetarian. I was a binge drinking vegetarian. And I probably considered going to the gym my healthiest habit. So that was where I was. That was back in 2006, I think. So this was my last show of the Footy Show. This is my last day of Channel 9. And it was Gary and JB's first show of the Footy Show. So what was that? 9 years ago, I suppose. All right, but this point in my life, I had taken lots of big steps, because as you're about to see, as you can see here, this was me in 1999. So this was my year 12 photo. And I look at it now and I can only really laugh at it, because, you know, I do draw a fair bit of satisfaction out of the fact that I clearly took my life in a far better direction than where it was heading in 1999. This photo shows the average Marcus. I really could have turned out this way. I mean, if you fast forward this 15 years, it would have been a lot more plumper and overweight and pasty and pimply than that. But as you'll see tonight, when I go through the foundations of living an exceptional life, I really was anything but exceptional. I knew that I wanted to be a journalist, but that and my social life were about the only exceptional things that I had going for me as an 18-year-old. I didn't exercise. I ate terribly. I fought regularly with my family. I was very volatile in my personality. I had no real idea about financial independence, and my spirit was entrenched in the Catholic school system, which wasn't a bad thing and is definitely not a bad thing. I was just somewhat naive about spirituality. I really did struggle to have a girlfriend, which as an 18-year-old really is your worst nightmare. And when I look back at it, I didn't make the effort to begin learning about exceptional living. I think, you know, if I didn't ever make that effort, I think I really would have adopted the belief that average is acceptable, mediocrity is manageable, and that was really probably where I was going. Now, if you have a look at the bottom of that photo there, because some of you are curious beings, you're going to wonder what's that TT and what's that D on the pocket there. Well, I can tell you now, it is with great pride that I'll be able to tell my son Darby that his daddy was the school captain of the table tennis team, and that dad was also a reasonable debater. But I can tell you right now, I'm happy to say that I'm much healthier these days. So there's a close-up of that beautiful, plumpy 18-year-old face. But these days, I'm much healthier. I'm 33, so 15 years fast forward. I think you'd all agree that I'm looking much better there. This was at Maya's 5th birthday party on the weekend, and Darby in the middle, Sarah there. I'm much better there than I was when I was in year 12. But this was no Pantene ad. It didn't happen overnight. It's taken a lot of learning, a lot of application, a lot of mistakes, a lot of personal growth. But what's really taken my life to the next level is constant curiosity. The amount of research I've done over the past 12 years, and particularly over the last 5 years, has really led me to share the type of information which I'm going to share with you tonight. Now, for the sake of time, I will end the story there. I'll move on to the content of tonight's webinar. However, if you do want to know more, simply go to the exceptionallifeblueprint.com.au, watch the video series there, and that's when you'll really get to know, I suppose, the even more expanded version. Okay, so as a foreground to tonight's webinar, let's have a look at the agenda. What I'll do, I'll just check in with any of these comments, because they often come in a fair chunk. Oh, hold on, I haven't even enabled it. Oh, there it is. Oh, Michelle says, such a beautiful family. You're an angel. Shani says, I can't believe you are sharing this. I can't help but laugh out loud. Well, Shani, it's God's honest truth. Great to have you on board, Shani. I miss you, gorgeous. Wendy Stewart, geez, that does not look like it at all like you, Marcus. Well, that was me. Jody Basil, hardly recognise you, Marcus. Let me just take this screen share off here for a moment so you can have a look at my face. Yes, laugh out loud. Yes, Kate, this will be recorded. Don't you worry. Jody Basil almost forgot, was walking out. Was out walking when I remembered, so you sprinted home. Nice work. My first barefoot run. Well done, Jody. Hello, everybody. Great to have you all here. Nice work. I love the community here. Good on you, everyone, with their wonderful manners. All right, so let me go back to this slide, and I'll get you stuck in. I could just show that Year 12 photo all night, couldn't I? It's a bit funny. Let's be honest. It was 15 years ago, so we can all laugh about it now. I wasn't laughing at the time, though. Alrighty, so what's the agenda for tonight? As many of you know, my vision is to help as many people as possible live truly exceptional lives. By exceptional, I do not mean mediocre, average, ho-hum, or status quo. I don't mean famous or infamous. I mean honestly fulfilling, sensational, magnificent lives that lead by example and leave a legacy that you can be proud of. And I don't just mean exceptional in one area of life, not just your work or your family or your food. This is the fatal mistake many people are making today, and it really, really gets to me that people are really focusing on one area and thinking that's, I suppose, all that needs to be done. That is not what exceptional living is all about. What I mean is that I'm dedicated to helping people completely integrate the 8 areas of exceptional living into their life. This is not easy. It's not an overnight solution. However, in my view, it is the only option when we make the decision to be the absolute best versions of ourselves. Settling for anything less is mediocrity. As brutal as it sounds, it's the truth. We have been shown the way by people living exceptional lives today, and I'll share some of them with you tonight, and millions of people who have gone before us. Debbie Bunyard, if you're on this call, you'd be happy to know that Damien and I are interviewing Stephen Jetson tomorrow, the 72-year-old. Is it Jepson? Not Jetsons, that's the Jetsons. Jepson, the 72-year-old who's doing amazing things over in the States. There are plenty of people alive today that are setting a great example. We do have role models out there for aging well and living exceptional lives. There's just not that many of them. But these people have left clues and their wisdom, which I've dedicated the last 12 years of my life to putting these clues and wisdom into a way of living that anyone can follow. If you've listened to any of my 100 Not Out podcasts or watched the free Exceptional Life Blueprint videos, you know the type of people I am talking about. I do this through teaching an 8-step process called the Exceptional Life Blueprint. And again, if you've seen those 4 videos, you will know what this is all about. I've got a bit of an announcement on the blueprint tonight, which is new. Oh, these are all in funny order, which I'll share with you in a moment. Some of you on the webinar are familiar with the Exceptional Life Blueprint work. Some of you aren't. At the end of tonight's webinar, as I just said, I'll share with you a somewhat exciting announcement about it. Now, I've received a lot of feedback about the blueprint since it launched in September last year, and that's why I've made a slight shift to the program, which again, I'll share with you at the end of the webinar. Alrighty, as I said, this webinar has pretty much been inspired by this wonderful book. If you're a bookworm, please go out and read it. It's called Steve Jobs by Walter Isaacson. Isaacson also did the biographies of Einstein and Benjamin Franklin, and he's also put a new book out there called The Innovators, so highly recommend that you do it. Now, a little bit, highly recommend that you read it. If you love a good biography, then you'll love it. Let me tell you a bit about Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs did awesome work with Apple, but I'll tell you what, if you want to study exceptional beings, always look at the volatility of people's lives. Are they living stable lives or are they volatile? And volatility generally means premature death. Not always, but a lot of the time, particularly when that volatility permeates right throughout life. Now, Steve Jobs was adopted. He was given up for adoption when he was born. This is his adopted father, Paul. And Steve himself became a father when he was 23 and was about to launch Apple. But he essentially abandoned his first child, Lisa, and didn't really connect with her until she was 8. So what goes around comes around. Pretty fascinating story. Jobs was obsessed, I suppose, was a big proponent of Zen Buddhism, but really, on reading the book, he was anything but Zen in his temperament. He was a volatile man in his moods. He was a very angry man in many ways. He was obviously a very driven man, but really did struggle to be at peace with himself. And he was also one for extreme diets. He was well known for his constant breakfast, lunch, and dinner of carrot salads. Literally, what you see in the picture there, carrot salads with a hint of lime. And I think even Ashton Kutcher, when he did the movie on Steve Jobs, was saying how when he went to actually do it himself and live these extreme diets, how difficult it was and what an impact it had on his own personal health. So there was sufficient conflict in Jobs' life, and that was perhaps possibly why Apple was such a great company. He escaped the complexity of his personal life for the simplicity of his work. Now, again, these are just my thoughts and insights. I don't say this as a dreamer. If you know me, you know that I'm a very optimistic person by nature. I'm a glass half full kind of guy. But what I do want to say is that we have no doubt allowed our lives, all of us, everyone here on this webinar, to become more complicated than what they really need to be. The asterisk on this is that I have no doubt that as you get older, life becomes more complicated. It's far more simpler to be a child or a teenager than it is to be an adult, particularly if you have kids. When you have more people to think about and plan about and consider, life does become more complex. But it's the unnecessary complexity that I want to address tonight. So let's get started. Why complexity is the enemy to life fulfillment and how to fix it. And I'm serious. Now, I'll share with you a little mantra from Steve Jobs, because as much as he had volatility in his life, he was a genius when it came to simplicity. And everything to do with Apple, if you have an iPhone or an iPad, everything built around those two products was all about simplicity. When Jobs, if you don't know, Jobs had two stints at Apple. He got kicked out at one point in the 80s, and he came back in the mid-90s. When he returned, that was his most famous stint. It sounds a bit brutal, but he got rid of 16,000 jobs. Sorry, 16,000. He cleared out 3,000 jobs. Saved almost $1 billion in expenses. He really did cut the crap out of. He cut a lot of excess complexity out of Apple. He started focusing on what he had done previously that had worked. He made really awesome products. He didn't focus on profit. It's a really fascinating thing about Jobs. He didn't focus on profit. He focused on the products, and it wasn't about quantity. It was all about quality. So he got rid of the products that weren't doing anything that he thought were real average products. And when we look at our own lives and we look at each area of our lives, every single one of you on the webinar tonight would be saying you want each area of your life to be quality. You want to have a quality life purpose. You want to have quality exercise. You want your family life to be great. You want to spend quality time with your loved ones. You want your social life to be quality. You want your nutrition to be quality. Every part of our life, we want quality. As my mum says, buy cheap, buy twice. It's exactly the same with our lives. We want quality in our lives, and this is where we have to recognize that our life is our product. Each section of our life needs to be masterful. You might be going, hold on a minute though, Marcus. When I look at my life, my components of my life suck. My life purpose sucks, my exercise sucks, my social life sucks, or my nutrition sucks, or my family life, or my relationships suck, or my learning, or my curiosity sucks, or my money sucks, or my spirit sucks. I feel like I'm just sucking, and it's January, we're 8 days in, and I'm really struggling. And I got an email today from someone that has actually just enrolled in the Exceptional Life Blueprint, saying that she's so glad she's done it because she's pretty much been feeling like she's been sucking for the first 8 days of January, and her whole thing about 2015 is that it's going to be nothing like 2014. It's very easy to get into this place in our life, but I'm telling you now, when we get clear on what our life is about, we have power. And that's what I really want to give you an insight and a glimpse of tonight when we go through the major guts of this webinar. So clarity is power, one component at a time. Let's look at this mantra from Jobs. Focus and simplicity. Simple can be harder than complex. You have to work hard to get your thinking clean to make it simple, but it's worth it in the end, because once you get there, once you have simplicity, you can move mountains. Once you have simplicity in your life, you can live a truly exceptional life. Simple can be harder than complex. I want you to really think about this. Simple can be harder. Think about a few things. Let me give you some examples. Think of a shoebox that's full of your receipts, okay? That's complex, right? And then it's a little bit overwhelming, or may I say completely overwhelming, to consider making it into a simple little folder in alphabetical or date order. Or think of the complexity of having 1,000 different logins and passwords and usernames. That's complex. Wouldn't it be simple if we just had one that we could use for all of those things? Have you got a million ideas for your life, yet struggle to get just one of them going? See where I'm going with this complexity versus simplicity. Do you have a daily to-do list that might have 20 items on the to-do list? Now, I'll say this slowly. What if having one piece of paper with 20 items on your list, which is what most of us does, what if we had 20 pieces of paper with one item on it? 20 pieces with one item on it, and we didn't move on to the next piece until the other one was done. Now, that's not how I plan my day, but if you are on sticky notes and you've got them stuck everywhere, my attitude is have one item on one piece of paper, and you don't move on to the next thing until you've got that one done. Now, you might have a vision or a goal that lacks clarity or definition. If you can't put it into words, that's because it's complex. You might suffer from overwhelm. If you have you look at this slide, we've got all these ideas coming into our heads. We've got all these big dreams and goals. I'm going to do this and that. I'm going to lose 5 kilos. I'm going to run a marathon. I'm going to do this, that. But we are so overwhelmed, which overwhelm, I'm telling you right now, is a mixture of your thoughts that haven't been put into actionable steps. I'll say this again. Overwhelm is nothing more than a mixture of your thoughts that have not been actioned. It's a mixture of thoughts that haven't been actioned. And that is complexity 101. So this is going to sound so simple, and you're going to think I am just taking the short road here, but I am such a big proponent of this. If I don't do this, I don't get things done. To bring more simplicity into your life, please, please, please write things down, or type it down if you have to, but I'm a pen and paper guy. Whether it's planning your day and numbering each item on your list, and or then putting an asterisk next to the items that you must get done, because you'll realize very quickly that everything on your to-do list does not have to be done. That is bringing order and simplicity into your day, and order and simplicity into your life. So if you don't have a way to plan your day right now, I'm telling you now, you don't have a way to plan your life. And if you don't have a way to plan your life, then I'm telling you now, and I don't mean to sound overly brutal, if you don't have a way to plan your day, you don't have a way to plan your life, you don't have a way to be exceptional. It begins with writing things down. It simplifies everything. It removes the overwhelm from our soul as much as our brain. Now, this is something that obviously you can gather I'm passionate about. I go into this in a lot of detail in the Exceptional Life Blueprint. For those of you on the webinar that are doing the blueprint, it's the very last module. It's productivity. And I go into this in detail. I think I go into it over the course of an hour. And there's worksheets and all kinds of stuff in there. All right, so who here potentially, let me just take myself, let me take the screens off. Let me see what you're all saying. I love a big list. Yes, all right, I'm just having a look at here. Looks like me at the moment. But then you have to prioritize your sticky notes. Oh my God, Marcus, I went through my big box of receipts today and sorted them all out into different categories, threw away a lot of them too. Good work, Justine. There's clarity there. Just having a look at the comments here, guys. Thanks, Heather. You think I'm epic. Thank you. You're a legend. Alan's putting in some good ones here. Synchronicity moment for me. My word of 2015 is quality. Nice word. Word for the year. Good work. Loving these comments, guys. This is awesome. Who's loving the slides? Jody Basil, thank you. I put so much time into these slides, so a bit of positive feedback with the slides is awesome. I just realized I had this aha moment. I better take myself up here. I had this aha moment that when I look at the webinars that I enjoy the most and that I get the most out of, I am a sucker for slides. I actually focus, I concentrate, I take more notes, I get the most out of it. And for the last 3 or 4 or 5 slides, 3 or 4 or 5 webinars, I've been telling all you guys, I'm doing a webinar like this. You've got me talking to you, and that's what it's all about. And that's awesome. Don't get me wrong. I love that too, but I really do love I'm glad that you like the slides. Cool. Shani says, I agree, Debbie. I take the complexity out of my head by putting it on paper and then forgetting about it until I have time to deal with it. But that's even better though, isn't it, Shani? That's the thing. Getting it down on paper means that it's much more likely to be done than not done. Great work, Wendy. All about lists. Cannot live without them. I better write my shopping list whilst you talk. I did lots of sticky notes. Now look, I'll just show you guys mine. I'm not a sticky note guy. I have a plan for my day. Show you here that's not too crazy messy. It'll probably go to the bin actually. Get one out that's got numbers and I'll just put this up here. This is going to look crazy, so apologies. But can you see here the asterisks? I cross out like crazy because I get a big adrenaline rush. Can you see the asterisks just here? The asterisks. And can you see the numbers? Sorry if you can't. There's numbers next to those. And if they've been circled, it means they're half done. And once they're crossed out, as you can see, I have well and truly demolished that baby. But you do get a big confidence, I suppose, rush out of getting stuff done. And if everything's in your head, then you actually don't know what you got done, haven't got done, and you can't have a party with your stuff. Right, moving on. Moving on. Let me get back into this. All right, share this one here. So, who has a story? Let me up to all my slides here. Hold on a minute, folks. Just give me a moment. Who has a story? Here we are. Longer than War of Peace. I'm 70 pages into War and Peace. I think I've started it 4 or 5 times. But look, if we don't write things down or have some order to our lives, we end up with a story longer than War and Peace about all the things going on in our lives and how busy we are and how much we're struggling, that it truly becomes part of our reality to the point where we adopt what the great psychologist Martin Seligman calls learned helplessness. And we honestly believe there is nothing we can do about it because it is just us. This is who we are. I'm a procrastinator. I am lazy. I am fat. That's just who I am. However, if you're on this webinar tonight, I can guarantee you that you have had some major victories in your life and some major losses, but what they tell you is that life changes. You are fat and you're now slim. I was chubby and I'm now not chubby. You were slim and you're now fat. You were poor and you're now rich. You were rich and you're now poor. You are happy and you're now sad. You are sad and you're now happy. Whatever it is, nothing stays the same. So instead of a War and Peace filled with excuses and alibis, why not adopt a simple mantra or a belief and repeat that little baby over and over again until that becomes your story, albeit a very short story. Maybe something like, I enjoy the little things in life. People are just as happy as they make up their minds to be. I am loved and I love unconditionally. Whatever they are for you. Have mantras, have beliefs, have one-liners that you live your life by. Everything goes right for me. This too shall pass. There's a blessing in there somewhere. This is all part of the perfection. Your self-talk really does dictate the quality of your life. So wherever you are right now, I'm a big believer in brevity. Even though I struggle to talk in brevity, I'm a big believer in brevity of our beliefs. So I know some of these ideas or suggestions aren't always possible, but you probably get my drift here, right? If we just give up and don't ever work on the simplicity in our lives, then you kind of can get an idea of where I'm going with this. What happens is we end up running around like this little puppy, or this little chook, or those 3 little chooks. We end up running around like headless chooks, and most people are running around like headless chooks and they don't even know it. If we do not have a clear goal or purpose, then we are simply running around like our little chooks here. If we don't know the rules of the game, if we don't know if we're winning or losing, again, we're running around like headless chooks, cats. And the problem is no one will ever tell you to stop running around like headless chooks, because guess what? They are headless chooks too, and we have never been taught to be anything else but headless chooks. So if this is your list, time to do it differently. Time to do it differently. Don't give it a second thought. Just start writing things down in an order. Give yourself numbers, give yourself asterisks. Just determine to bring more order into your life. As I say, I'm I'm anal about this. I've spent thousands of dollars on productivity, learning, bringing order into my life because I'm a creative. Like, I'm one of those thinkers that my mind just goes everywhere. And Sarah grounds me beautifully because some of my ideas are just too big for right now. I'm very much a glass half full kind of guy. I want to go and travel the world and do all kinds of big things. And when you've got 2 young kids and a 4 and 5-year-old who's just about to start school and all those kinds of things, traveling around the world and all those things isn't the right action, wrong time. So I'm not saying go and be stupid, but I'm saying let's get real. If we're going to live exceptional lives, let's do this properly. So let me just kind of give you my thoughts on what headless, or what, if we're going to be headless and we're going to be busy doing not much, I'm saying right now the exceptional question at the beginning of each day is, what do I want out of today, not what have I got to do today? Because if you see that to-do list there right now, I'm telling you right now, that kind of to-do list is a what have I got to do today. It doesn't go into the real life elements, and that is, what if I am going to be a little bit selfish about my life? What if I'm going to determine in advance that my life is going to be exceptional? Well, you know what? If your life is going to be exceptional, you're going to ask yourself, what do I want out of today? What do I want out of my life? Do you want to catch up with girlfriends for coffee today? Do you want to have quality time with the kids after school today? Do you want to live in a nice, clean home? Do you want to strengthen the relationship with your partner? What do you want? Now, in my view, that's a much better question than what have I got to do? Alrighty, so let's get stuck into this. How do you actually choose this one? How to set your own life up in 2015 to create, experience, and have more fulfillment than ever before. And yes, I'm serious, by doing less. All right, let's begin to focus on that one area of your life that is more important to excel at in 2015 than any other one. To do this, I'm going to run through the 8 pillars of the Exceptional Life Blueprint. Your job here is to work out if you are the exception or the rule. Now, again, those of you that have done this before, those of you that are doing the blueprint, you'll have done this before, but as the great Tony Robbins would say, repetition is the mother of skill. Checking in with yourself, because you may have stepped up over the Christmas New Year break and you may have become what used to be exceptional. You may be the rule in there, and you need to give yourself a wake-up call to return to exceptionality, or what would Karen Smith call it? Exceptionality, isness? She came up with something, exceptionality. Anyway, if you are the exception in 8 areas of the Exceptional Life Blueprint, give yourself an 8. If it's a 5, give yourself a 5, and so on. You know the drill. Alrighty. So the first pillar of the Exceptional Life Blueprint is life purpose. If you love what you do during your waking hours, whether it's as a mum, as a lawyer, as a bricklayer, a cleaner, a gardener, an accountant, if you absolutely love it and have the privilege of doing it, then you are the exception. If, on the other hand, work is simply a vehicle to pay your bills, in other words, you work to live and then you are the rule, that's what most of us have been taught to do. So give yourself a tick or a cross. Are you the exception or are you the rule? Do you do what you love and love what you do? Or are you working to live? The second pillar of the exceptional life is your movement. Now, most people don't exercise. 75% of us Aussies aren't exercising, which is disgusting. But if you're one of the weird ones, if you're one of the exceptions, then you are the exception. Now, is exercise a lifestyle choice? Generally, then you are the exception. It's a choose to. If it's a fad or a chore, like a 90-day program before a wedding, or a boot camp series before some big special event, or a get fit for summer kind of thing, and then you stop once summer's over, then you're more in the rule. Give yourself a score there. Are you the exception or the rule? Now, the third pillar of the exceptional life is socialize. And we know that people who socialize and have poor diets live longer and better than people who don't socialize and have great diets. Now, that is why this area of life is ranked so high. Community has literally immeasurable health benefits. The same goes for family, which we'll get to shortly. So, how is your peer group? The exceptionals have an empowering peer group, a peer group that they just love. I know there's a few girls on here, Wendy, Debbie, Jody Basil, Cara Henstridge. You guys are awesome. You are a great peer group. You're so supportive of each other. I see your Facebook posts. I've obviously met you through the Wellness Couch. I'll be joining you at the Wellness Breakthrough in February. That is so good for your health. You will possibly never know, but it is so good because we can never measure the health benefits of socializing. You can't stick a needle in someone and go, that's because of their social life. But we know that people that with great social lives and poor diets are living better and longer than people with great diets and poor social lives. So if you're on the paleo diet or a vegan or a vegetarian or whatever diet you're on, but you're eating that meal at your desk, lonely as all get out, or just by yourself and not enjoying it with others, not as healthy as having maybe a slightly less healthy meal, but having it with others. However, the reassuring point here is, and this all comes from a great study done at Harvard by Lisa Berkman, the people that have the best diets and have the best social lives live the longest. And that is what I, and hopefully you, are intending to do. So we are the average of the 5 people we hang around. Write that one down, and then write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and write down the 5 people that you hang around. Have a think about them. Are they exceptional people? Are they empowering or disempowering? As Tony Robbins says, the quality of your life is the quality of your peer group. So if you want a better life, if you want an exceptional life, you need an exceptional peer group. That's why I love those girls, Wendy, Debbie, Cara, Jody. Keep it up. Now, the next 5. Here it is. For those of you that haven't seen this before, apologies that I'm racing through it. Again, I go through all of this in the 4-part video series. If you want the whole 90 minutes of free videos here, just go to exceptionallifeblueprint.com.au, enter your email, and away you go. The 4th pillar, this is what is quality of life. The first 3 areas we just went through are all about what a great long life is all about. These next ones are all about a great quality of life. Give yourself a tick or a cross or an exception or a rule. If you have a processed diet, if it's gluten, sugar, trans fats, in other words, fast foods, if you believe that everything in moderation is the way to go and you have a pretty processed diet, sandwiches, pastas, all the bits and bobs, you're the rule, not a bad person. Better say that, not a bad person, just an average diet. That's exactly what I was like, particularly in that year 12 school photo. But if you are big on whole foods, but you still like to slip up every now and again, and it's a conscious slip up, it's a ZAG, it's an 80-20 rule, but the basis of your diet is plant-based whole foods, you are the exception. This is what the Okinawans, the Icarians, the greatest cultures live on. This is the exceptionals. Now, what about your family? Is your family, your intimate relationships, is your family life, do you see family as in the way? Does your family get in the way of you doing stuff, or do you find your family as being on the way? Even all the different parts of it, the different personalities, do you have great relationships or average ones? Give yourself a tick or a cross. Now, have you stopped learning? Since uni and school was over, have you stopped learning? Or do you still love to learn new skills? Do you love to learn a language? Do you love to learn stuff like this, personal growth, professional growth? Jean Calment, the oldest woman ever to live, 122 years and 164 days, took up fencing age 85. Dexter Kruger, who we interviewed on 100 Not Out, great interview, one of my favorites. He is 104 now, I think. I think he's the oldest active author in the world. He took up writing when his wife died in his 80s. He has 7 books and he's still going. Are you challenging yourself in new fields, no matter what your age? That is a key to exceptional living. Do you spend more than you earn? If you do, you're not alone. Us Aussies spend $114 for every $100 we earn. Are you spending more than you earn? Do you have nothing to invest? And are you living day to day or week to week? Or are you the exceptional? Are you the exception to the rule? Are you spending less than you earn, investing the difference, and thinking financially long term? And the last one is your spirit and your soul. Do you have a threshold that you believe that there's good things and bad things, that there's elation and desperation, that there's love and hate, that there's, what are the other opposites? Happy and sad, all of these things. And do you think that that is the universe, or do you see the perfection in all of these things? Do you see the perfection in war and the perfection in peace, the perfection in poverty and the perfection in abundance, the perfection in happiness and sadness? Do you see all of that? Where you're at in terms of your spirit? And again, if all of that's a little bit, oh my gosh, it's going into deep stuff very quickly, watch the videos because I give it the justice that it deserves in the Exceptional Life Blueprint. So now, that's the blueprint in itself, okay? For those of you that are seeing this for the first time, that is the Exceptional Life Blueprint. It's the 8 steps. At the base of it is doing what you love and loving what you do, exercising and moving, having an active social life. They are quantity of life. And the quality accelerators, what makes our life even more exciting is excellent nutrition, because we've got the energy to do things and the health to do things, having an excellent family life, learning, financial independence. They are what accelerate our life. And obviously, spirit, soul, and faith transcends every single area of the blueprint. So give yourself a score, folks. Give yourself a score out of 8. I'd love to know your scores. If you're happy to pop them in the comments section, that would be great. Now, there's a big question. What are you the rule in? And I want you to look at your list right now. What are you the rule in that is causing you pain? What do you know is just not up to the standards that you have for yourself? Is it your exercise? For a lot of people it is, and again, don't be alarmed. You're in a big majority there. Is it exercise? For a lot of people, it's life purpose. A lot of people aren't doing what they love. Now, there are consequences with this, and I'm just going to share some of them here. But the consequence of not doing what you love, the major consequence is regret. Now, the biggest regret that people have is that they live their lives according to the values of others. I'll just bring my screen share off here. Stop. All right, so yeah, just looking at the comments here. So the biggest consequence of not doing what you love is that you will die with regret. I say that because I'm like, oh, I'm about to say something big, but you will. There will be a regret that you did not spend your life the way you wanted to, that you did not have the guts or the courage to do what you love and love what you do. Some of you are probably listening to this going, but I don't know what I love to do. I'm telling you, don't mean to sound salesy, but do the blueprint, because you will go through the clarity defining processes that allow you to find out what it is that give you the confidence. You might not actually feel, oh, but you will feel, you might feel scared, but you will have the confidence that this is the right thing to do. People that are doing the blueprint will already know that I've pressured some of them, not pressured, I've challenged some of them to get outside their comfort zone and just test their life purpose. Just go out and, do it for an hour a week, a couple of hours a week. Start a blog, do it part-time. Do it in the moonlight hours. Read with the 5 Regrets of the Dying. Great book. Yes, Nicole. It is one of my absolute favorites. Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. I've got it over there. I'll just, hold on a minute, folks. This book here will change your life. If you're impatient, go to thewellnesscouch.com. There's a little search bar there, and you'll see an interview Damien and I did with its author, Bronnie Ware. Beautiful woman. And learn all about the 5 regrets there. But the biggest regret of life purpose is, the biggest consequence of life purpose is regret. And regret is a killer. You do not want to live with regrets. The biggest consequence of not exercising, I'll tell you right now, this is brutal, is dementia. We now know that the people that have dementia, exercise, there's a protein in the brain. There's a protein in the brain, and this protein in the brain that shows, I'm just getting mind blanks on what the protein is called, and I say it all the time. Anyway, the people that have the highest levels of the protein in the brain exercise the least, and the people that exercise the most have the least amounts of this protein. And again, yes, exercise, sorry, I'm getting jumbled here. Exercise, the biggest consequence is dementia. So you've got to move. You've got to keep that brain moving, literally keeping your body moving. Social life, I've already gone through the consequences of having a poor social life. Premature death. Nutrition, well, obesity, that's the biggest one at the moment. But the poor nutrition just equals poor energy, poor moods, poor quality. That's why it's the #1 quality accelerator. Poor family life, we all know the consequences of that. And again, not talking about everything has to be Brady Bunch. I'm in the most blended family. I'm in a very blended family. I've got a stepmom. So my parents separated and got all of the bits and bobs that go with separated parents. So blended families are cool, but love it. Like, see the blessings in the blend. And then consequences of not learning, curiosity. Well, again, brain dead, okay, dementia. But there's no spice in life when we're not learning and curious. Money, the biggest one with money comes down to the end of your life. There's people out there that are in nursing homes right now that aren't being fed, and if they are being fed, it's not food. They're having sausage rolls for breakfast. And these are the people that don't have the money to be in better quality homes. Now, you probably may know my opinions on homes, but better quality homes are housing people that have better quality finances. If you don't have your quality finances when you get to the end of your life, then 90% of your pension is being spent on your accommodation and your whatever that food is. And there's, again, watch the 4 videos. I go through the disgusting nature and the undignified manner that some people are living and dying in. People are dying undignified ways because they're in homes that really they could only afford, and because, again, they didn't have the money in the course of their life. So financial independence is so important. Okay. See, I ramble when I don't have these slides, do I? What's the book called again? The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. Shani says, I've made so many life changes and decisions on this mantra, Cecilia. It's been amazingly positive for me. Nice work, Shani. Nicole, Marcus, you are getting too excited? Yeah. Alrighty. Cool. Now, 3 for me, exercise is my pain-causing rule. What else? What else is, can you guys put in, what is your 1? Let me bring up this slide. What is your 1? What is your 1? What is the area of life that is causing you pain? Pop it down in the comments box. Because really, the things that you do that are already exceptional, all right, so I saw one of you there gave yourself a 6. Those 6 are probably going to happen without you having to think about it. What we are already exceptional in, whether we're a great parent or we're great at our work or we get up daily and exercise or we catch up with our friends regularly, whatever those things are, we do them naturally. What we're exceptional in, we generally do naturally. It wasn't always that way, but if it is now, unless it's only been exceptional for a week or 2, it's a habit. So now, here we go. If you're truly committed to being the exception to the rule, to be the best version of yourself, whether, as I said, as a parent, in your work, in your family, for yourself, whatever that identity is, you must choose this 1. This 1 area of your life. This is what you're going to commit your 2015 to excelling at. This is your area. Now, let me just chime in here and have a look what you're all saying. Life purpose, financial security, exercise, purpose. I mean, what else? Exercising and movement, and we have to continue to change. Nutrition, good on you, Wendy. Emma says money, good on you for your, I'm just loving everyone's honesty here. I love this group. Carry regular exercise. Carrie, I said this to you the other day, and I'm saying it to you all again now. Just imagine telling your children and or your grandchildren, actually, it gets worse. Imagine not even knowing that your children are your children and that your grandchildren are your grandchildren because you're demented, and knowing that because that the fact that you're demented, quite possibly, I'm not going to say definitely, but all of the research is saying very highly likely could have been prevented if you had made it a priority to exercise. I can't be any more clear. This is, for me, it's the first thing I do at the beginning of each day. If I don't exercise in the beginning of the day, it gets harder and harder and harder to do as the day goes on. So I exercise in the morning. I would probably recommend, blanket rule, do it first thing in the morning. Purely because if it doesn't get done in the morning, it doesn't get done. Particularly if you're a parent. So if exercise is it, get it done. Carrie, get it done. Michelle, we can help fix your social life. Core, social life and life purpose. Social life is a big one for people these days because social media is here. Telling you now, if media, and possibly to a further extent, if the internet wasn't here, we would socialize more. But it makes it easy to socialize on social media than in real life now because we're still having contact. I mean, webinars, look at this. This is great. This is the best thing outside of a real live event. But it's not socializing. It's interacting, but it's the physical touch. It's giving you a hug, Shani, because I haven't seen you for so long. It's giving Wendy a hug when I see her at the breakthrough. It's giving Michelle a hug when I see her at the Exceptional Life Blueprint Live event in Byron, and a number of you others here. When I see you in real life, that's better for my health, better for your health than this technology. All right, now let me get back to these slides, because as you can probably tell, things go a little bit pear-shaped when I'm just talking to the screen. All right, there's a problem with this though, isn't there, folks? Because I'm sure there's a part of you, just like there's a part of me saying, Houston, we have a problem. And this is the dichotomy of this entire webinar. If we only do one thing, okay, if we only focus on the one thing, what happens? We get one thing exceptional in our life, and you know what? Naturally enough, you want another area to be exceptional. The consequences of excelling in only one area are not good. Now, I'm not suggesting to only excel in one area. Obviously, I'm suggesting to excel in the areas that you're the rule in. But just on this point, if we rock in our family but we suffer in our nutrition, then who wants a parent with preventable chronic disease? Let me make sure I've got this going here. Hold on a minute. I didn't share the screen, did I? Share that. So the problem is, who wants a parent? Go back to this example. Let's say you're a parent and your nutrition is not where it wants to be. I'm going to be, again, rather poignant, so apologies if you find this a little bit too brutal. Who wants a parent who has poor nutrition, who ends up with a preventable chronic disease like obesity or heart disease? Even the World Health Organization are acknowledging that 44% of cancers are preventable because those cancers are caused by obesity, and obesity is preventable. Who wants that? None of you here want that. So if we focus on one area is important, but when that one area becomes exceptional, you then want to make another area exceptional, like your wealth or your nutrition or your life purpose. And that's why I created the blueprint, because when I created this, I had other product developers saying, you know, this, Marcus, this blueprint program that you're going to create, it's not niche enough. It should be only about health. It should be about wealth. It should be about relationship. But that's not life. People who try a niche life, they're the ones suffering. People that put all of their work into their work. Steve Jobs, perfect example. People that put all of their time and effort and energy into their life purpose will suffer in their nutrition or their family or their spirit or their wealth. Again, there's a great line. People that spend all of their health trying to claim their wealth end up then spending all of their wealth trying to get back their health. It never has a happy ending. We see it all the time. Celebrities, sports people, everyday men and women that have put all of their eggs in one or two baskets, and they're suffering. This Exceptional Life Blueprint program is about focusing on each area one at a time. And that's what the name of the program suggests. If you do it one at a time, you create this exceptional life. Now, I don't know if I've got a picture of her in here, but one of my favorite ladies is Alice Hertz Sommer. Did I get her in or not? Let's have a look. Where is it? No, I don't have it. Anyway, I love people like Alice Hertz Sommer. Alice Hertz Sommer was the 110-year-old who, up until her death, was the oldest survivor of the Holocaust. We have our own Aussie battler, Jack Lockett. In the top 20 people in Australia who have lived the longest lives, 19 of them are women. Now, for you women out there, you will love this because you're going to live longer generally than us men. We still don't really know why, but I would say generally because you're more social beings and you're more connected to people. But Jack Lockett is the one Aussie. He died at 111 and he experienced the traumas of World War I. Now, whether you go through major traumas in your life like the Holocaust or war, there is still a pattern to people who live exceptional lives. And I am absolutely hell-bent on teaching these principles to as many people who will listen, because these days we are taught and led into mediocre lives. We are taught to get a job for 40 years that we don't really love. We're taught that exercise is not that important, that social media is okay in favor of social living, that everything in moderation with our food is acceptable, that having average relationships based on tolerance and compromises is okay, that pressing pause on our brain's capacity to learn once school or uni is over is okay. We get taught that spending more than we earn is okay. And we get taught that having unrealistic expectations on others and ourselves is acceptable. Now, obviously, this could not be further from the truth. This could not be further from the exceptional life. So it's a matter of what world do you choose to live in. Most people live in the average world. And in Australia, we have this wonderful phenomenon called the tall poppy syndrome for anyone who tries to make their life too exceptional. So the traps are there, folks. But the trappings of exceptional living are simply incredible, and many of you on this webinar already know them. The contentment and satisfaction and joy of doing what you love and loving what you do, the energy, the strength and sharpness of mind from exercise, the joy and connection of socializing, the cleanliness, the taste sensation, the variety available with exceptional nutrition, the magic of family, the fulfillment of learning, the choice and freedom that financial independence brings, and the ease and calm that an exceptional spirit, soul, or faith allows. This is the way forward for an exceptional life. And this is my invitation to you to join me and my fellow exceptionals on this wonderful journey. So let me describe with you what's involved in this program. I know a number of you here are already a part of the program. A number of you here have seen this before. There is a twist that I've put in it to begin 2015. So let me just share with you what's involved in the program. I'll go through all of this and then we'll wrap up, take some Q&As. I'll share with you my weird morning routine that I'm absolutely loving. All right, so let me go through with you here. The Exceptional Life Blueprint is an online program that you get to have forever. It's not one of those programs. There's a few online programs out there at the moment that you only get to have for a limited time. This is yours forever, okay? So my vision for this Blueprint program is that you can pass it on to your whole family, pass it down, allow your family to understand the principles of exceptional living so that they can apply it in their own lives. Now, it's designed to be 90 days, however, you can do it in any time frame that suits. You can consume it in 90 hours, 90 days, 90 weeks, 90 months, whatever suits you best. Each module contains a video. Now, often that video is from myself, so you're seeing now what this looks like. We're in the Blueprint at the moment. It's a video of me, or it might be with a special guest. You can also download that video as an MP3, so you can take it anywhere with you. So I know a lot of you that are doing the Blueprint are listening to it on your walks or whilst you exercise or whilst you're driving. So if you live in the country and you're driving a couple of hours, 3 hours to wherever you are, and I carry one of our exceptionals, she's in New South Wales and she does country Ks, and she is listening to the program in the car, you know, and that's a great way to absorb the program. So each video or audio normally goes for 30 minutes to an hour. You also get with it these worksheets so that you actually get some guidance to go through the program so that you actually know whether you're actually completing the program or not. So you can see this one here is on exercise, and we're going through BMIs and all other kinds of exercises there. There's also fact sheets. So with every single module, there's a fact sheet. So if you want to learn more about something, you can. And then there's also videos. So I go through a great selection of recommended videos, particularly with role models. So with exercise, I've got one on Ruth Frith, who was 104 when she passed away on the Gold Coast. Now, interestingly enough, Ruth did not eat vegetables. And I kind of go through that whole interesting fact of, well, where does nutrition stand? Ruth was 104. She won World Masters Games athletic gold medals in her hundreds. I talk about Tommy Hafey. You might want to learn about the Okinawans. You see Charles Euxter here. We've interviewed Charles on 100 Not Out. He was 94 when we interviewed him. He's a retired dentist who now loves to be a bodybuilder. He also does canoeing and all kinds of wonderful things. So there's recommended videos, there's recommended reading, there's recommended podcasts. And you also get an email from me each week to keep you accountable, all right, to actually make sure this is getting done. And my favorite part of the program at the moment is definitely our Exceptionals Facebook group. Again, I know a number of you here are in this Facebook group, and I'm absolutely loving the interaction that we have. So that's the Blueprint program in a nutshell. The biggest thing about it all, and you know, as I said, we have got a great tribe on it, but the biggest thing about it is that it's obviously designed to get you results, okay? It's good to get clarity, it's good to get confidence, it's obviously great to get results out of this, and that's why I've been so, I suppose, humbled but really excited about the results that a lot of people have been able to get during the program. So here's a couple for you. This is from Michelle. I think Michelle is on the webinar tonight. Michelle says, I've always been pretty savvy with money and have made some good investments. However, your module on money and your recommendation of Tony Robbins has made me reevaluate things, put a budget together, start further researching investments. I've also started doing a huge amount of reading around nutrition, wellness, and I'm loving it. The Blueprint has inspired me to find my life purpose, and I feel the universe is pointing me in a direction which I am passionate about. Thank you, Michelle. Nicole says, the ELB is unlike anything I've done before. It's new and relevant to so many aspects of my life. Marcus is well researched, thanks Nicole, and really comes up with the goods to challenge your thoughts and the way you live your life. Support from the other exceptionals is a valuable bonus. I like that you can work through the program at your own pace, but that doesn't mean your interest wanes. It's all good stuff and you just want more. Audra says, I'm absolutely loving the ELB. The caliber of content contained in the program is truly phenomenal. The training is informative and engaging, and I love that I can download parts of the program onto my iPhone and head out for a walk whilst learning how to live a truly exceptional life. Thank you, Marcus, for designing such a unique program. I've become an ELB addict. It's a good addiction, Audra. Me too. And Cheryl says, I would really call the ELB retraining your brain. Give up your old thinking and give yourself permission to excel in life. That's right. That's where that tall poppy syndrome can be thrown in the bin. My motto was, why be ordinary when you can be extraordinary? But you have taken it to another level, Marcus, and I really appreciate it. Thanks, Cheryl. So they're just some of the exceptionals in the program at the moment. And as I say, I invite you to join. Now, I'm massive on guarantees because I truly believe that this program is not for everyone. So there's a 30-day, 100%, no questions asked, money back guarantee. If you jump in and you're not a fan, then you can have your money back, and I have no qualms about that whatsoever. Now, normally, if I did personal coaching on this, it normally ends up being around $8,000 to teach someone the fundamentals, keep them accountable, allow them to give them the space to turn their life around. We're looking at around $1,000 a module. We're looking at around $1,000. For a speaking engagement, we're looking at $2,000 for me to come and do a corporate presentation on the Exceptional Life Blueprint. Now, for this program, right now, for the 2015, I'm putting together the program for 6 payments of $97. Now, I got a lot of feedback over the course of 2014 that people were looking for a little bit more affordability with the program, and that maybe they really wanted to do it, but possibly because Christmas was on the horizon as well. We had December, and people weren't finding it that easy to put together. So the online program itself right now is going at $97 for your first payment, and then monthly payments after that. So 6 payments in total of $97. If you prefer, you can have it in one payment of $497. So what I'll do, I'm just going to put up here, if I get to it, you'll see on there the program there display. You'll see there an offer now to join the Exceptional Life Blueprint there. Now, if I just come back, where am I? There are a number of bonuses, though, that truly make it exceptional. So what I'd ask you, first of all, I'll just bring this out here. I've gone on to the next slide. So just let me bring this out. Where am I? I often get lost. So yes, there's that next slide. So click on the link. You see it on the screen. It's on the right-hand side. If you're ready to make 2015 exceptional, if you know that you're looking at all of these levels and you want, obviously you want that one area in 2015 to be exceptional, but if you know you want lifetime access to this information, to really my life's work from the past 12 years, to make every single area of your life exceptional, then again, I don't say I guarantee, but I'm very confident that this program will fit what you're looking for. For some of you, this is the perfect fit. For some of you, it definitely isn't. I'm totally cool with that. You will know if this is the fit for you. If you're flirting with the idea of it right now, then the blueprint could well, in fact, be for you. But generally, you know when it's a no. If the top doesn't fit, if the jeans are too expensive, if it's just not right, then it's a pretty easy decision to say no. Now, I will add in here that this offer is limited. For those of you that know, the blueprint is normally $1,497. So there's a full $1,000 off the blueprint at the moment. But again, I have been lucky enough, because of my position with the Wellness Couch particularly, that I can put in over $1,500 in bonuses for the program. And this really, for me, complements the Exceptional Life Blueprint program itself. In about 5 minutes, we'll take Q&As. So if you've put in some questions there, please go ahead. I'll go through these bonuses. You've got the link there. If you're ready to join the program now, you can click on the link, but I'll go through these bonuses. The first bonus is 35 hours of Powerhouse Wellness. It's every single wellness summit that I have ever run. So if you don't know, I run these wellness summits for the Wellness Couch. Pete Evans, Joe Witten from Quirky Cooking, Cindy O'Meara, Karen Smith, Kim Morrison, the Wellness Guys, David Gillespie from Sweet Poison. You've got nearly $600 worth of value there. 35 hours, you get audio and video content delivered straight to your inbox. The second bonus is my 6-day audio program, the 100 Not Out 6-day audio program, Mastering the Art of Aging Well. That's valued at nearly $200. The third bonus is 2 further online programs. So we've got Dr. Lawrence Tam's 30 Days to Wellness program, which is really kick butt. It's a fabulous program. And 28 Days Lose Weight with Forage from Damien Christoph. 2 exceptional programs. They both go for a month. They're valued at $197. So we're almost, I think we're just past $1,000 in bonuses. You also get 2 wonderful ebooks from Cindy O'Meara and Kim Morrison. These girls have put together The Cholesterol Scam and 53 Shades of Chocolate. That's valued at $19. You get 53 Shades of Chocolate is an awesome ebook. 53 chocolate recipes. If you know me, you know I love chocolate. And then I'm also throwing in 2 coaching calls for the first 5 people that enroll in the blueprint. 2 coaching calls. That's valued at $500. and you get 2 coaching calls with me to actually really get some momentum on designing your exceptional life. So when we take a look at all of this, there's over $1,500 in bonuses there. If I break it all down, got the Exceptional Life Blueprint online program, which goes for 90 days, but again, do it in any time frame that you like. You've got the Wellness Summit home study programs that will keep you occupied for yonks. You've got the 100 Night Out audio program, the other online programs from Lawrence Tam and Damien Christoph, the ebooks from Cindy O'Meara and Kim Morrison, 2 personal Skype or coaching calls with myself. That's over $3,000 in value there. You can start the program from as little as $97, 6 payments of $97, 6 payments, 1 a month for the next 6 months. Or if you want to go once off, you can do that for $497. So that's the 2015 Exceptional Life Blueprint offer. And that is, now it's time for Q&A. So there you have it, folks. That's been 65 minutes of me talking at you. Thank you for your patience, everybody. Alrighty, now, questions and answers. Let's have a look. Wow, that's a good deal. Yes, Barb, you did pay close to $700. So the only difference with this, folks, is that this online program doesn't include the live event in Byron Bay, because a lot of the questions I was getting was, I'm not sure that I can get to Byron Bay. And so the Blueprint program itself doesn't include the live event, but yours does. But alrighty, will you be in Brisbane? Stop saying Brisbane unless it's moving, because you know those other girls are talking about Byron. Alrighty, let's have a look here. Leanne, you'll be starting. That's good. It's nice to know you can always come back to do it for a refresher. That's great. So much interesting content. Good work. Thanks for putting in a good word, you boys and girls, as part of the Blueprint. Let's have a look here. Nice work. Awesome. Thanks, Marcus. No worries. Again, for those people that, again, I had a fair chunk of feedback just about the making it more affordable. So that is a big purpose for getting this program out there to more people. Life is very complex. Good work. Now, any questions, guys, feel free to pop them in through here. I'll bring back I'll take the screenshot off, so I'll come back here. Oh, yes, hold on a minute. I didn't share that slightly weird morning ritual. Better do that. Now, you might be wondering what it is. This came from listening to a lot of, when Tony Robbins launched his new book, All About Money, he was being interviewed everywhere, and he shared his morning routine a couple of times with people, because that's one of the things I would ask him as well. He shared his morning routine, and one of them is called cryotherapy. Now, cryotherapy, Google it, but the layman's way to get a fair chunk of the benefits of cryotherapy is this, folks. A good old cold shower first thing in the morning. Do not think about it. Absolutely do not think about it. I will guarantee you that the first cold shower you take might look like that. Remember that scene out of Psycho? You might feel a little bit crazy, but cold shower. Don't think about it. Run in there. Put it on cold. Count to 10. Don't count too fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hop out and then go and exercise. Telling you now, you won't be foggy. You'll be feeling good. All right, let me take this off. Come back to you, folks, and answer any questions that you have. Oh, have I missed the links? Jody Basil, you must have missed the links. You should have all the extras. I'll just write that down, Jody. That's easy. I'll just send you the link, Jody Basil. So, yes, Michelle, you should have the morning routine now. Cold showers all the way. What is it, Marcus? Good. You're on morning. Yes, cold shower. All right. So, sorry, I know you've all got it now. But so my morning routine, my extended morning routine, for those of you that care, is up at around 6, and obviously height of the family, hugs, kisses, all the rest of it. Straight in the shower, 10 seconds. Pop on the exercise shorts. At the moment, run down to the beach. No, drive down to the beach. Get out, get on the beach. I exercise for an hour. I come back. Sarah and I do a tag team. Sarah exercises for an hour. Come 8:15. So I make good on you, Sean. Great to have you as part of the Blueprint. Great man. Fantastic. So yes, and then where was I? So I make breakfast. Our typical breakfast is scrambled eggs, 6 eggs, all scrambled up. Yes, Tim Ferriss does claim the cold shower loses weight. I better stop looking at the comments. I'll get this morning routine out. So I did the scrambled eggs and greens, kale, zucchini, mushrooms is the normal, with some tamari. And then once that's cooked, put oil and Celtic sea salt, mix all that together with the eggs, sauerkraut on the side, chopped up tomatoes or anything else that's raw and going. Sarah comes home, she'll have a shower, her breakfast will be made for her, and I would have had breakfast with the kids by now. Do another kiss and a hug, tag team, and I go and shower, get ready, say goodbye to the kids, start my day, walk 5 steps into the office, and here I am working away. Yes, cool. So there you go. There you go. So how much extra to go to Byron? Debbie Carr. How much extra to go to Byron? So I'll put that in for those that join the blueprint. You'll then get an email if you join the blueprint with this on this special offer. You'll then get an email. Elizabeth Boland. I think I've missed the links too. Righto, you may have missed an email perhaps. Maybe an email of mine didn't fire off. So I will double check. Lauren and I've tried persistent, but due to slow down and consider about we're only 30 seconds going to try again tomorrow. Okay. That's cool, Edwina. Internet. So what was the question? Yeah, so I will send the people that have joined the blueprint will get an email with an offer to come to Byron as well. Joined up to do the program, was wanting to check it out for a while. I just caught the second half of your webinar. I hope I'm one of the first 5. Good on you, Samantha. Yes, I would love to have a couple of sessions with you. No worries. Sounds like my breakfast with a lovely green drink. Good on you, Michelle. Good on you, Shani. Thanks, Marcus. That was truly inspiring. I love your energy as always. Love to you all. Big hugs. Mwah. Miss you too, Shani. Whenever you come up here, you know there's a room here for you. Now, Wendy. All right, Wendy, you'll get the extra links. Just check, guys. For those of you saying I don't think I have the extra links, check your original email, the first one you got when you signed up, because that original email has the links to it. But again, I'll email it to you again anyway. What else? What other questions have we got here? Oh, so that's why you're talking Brisbane. You guys are going to catch up in Brisbane. Nice work. I miss our hugs too, Shani. I do. Oh, loving this feedback on the program. Thanks for the love. Alice was such a beautiful lady. Yes, she was. Alice Hertz-Sommer, YouTuber. If you do the program, have a look at the videos in the program. She's amazing. What else we got here? Is that what you're talking about, Wendy? Did my talk about, I wonder what hit you right between the eyes. Something else got Heather. I'm just scrolling back here. All right, I'll come back to the current ones. Oh, Jody Basil will fix a social life for you, Bettina. You're finding a new friend. Good work. All right. Yes, carry the Byron dates the 20th, 21st of June. Where are the links for the breakthrough? Cecilia, the links for the breakthrough, you may not have them because I have a feeling that other people, there may have been a problem with our, the people that look after the emails. Essentially, I don't look after the emails for the breakthrough, but I have a feeling, because you're not the first person to tell me you didn't get the links for that one, but essentially you'll get the same, because the bonuses for the breakthrough are the Wellness Summit DVDs as well. So it's exactly the same thing, but they're not the physical DVDs. Again, they're the digital downloads. So you actually just get a link to a website that has them on there. Were they all free, Wendy? The Wellness Summit DVDs were sent out ages ago. Yep, so that's a different one. So, yeah, so there might be a bit of confusion amongst the girls here. So Cecilia, Michelle, Wendy and Jody got their, when they signed up for the breakthrough, it was at the Wellness Summit in August. And when people signed up at the summit in August, that came with the early bird special, then included the physical DVDs. Hope that answers the question. Wendy Stewart, it was what you said about dementia. Yes, bang on. It's pretty much, I'm very pain-based. I do something to avoid pain rather than gain pleasure. And yes, it's a very good reason to exercise, just to avoid dementia. Yeah, and the wellnessbreakthrough.com is just the link. It does have a bit of a longer link, but again, the wellnessbreakthrough.com. Any other questions here? Marcus, what was that book you showed before? Oh, The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. I'll pop it in here. Cecilia. It was The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying by Bronnie Ware. We also interviewed her on 100 Not Out. You Google it or go to thewellnesscouch.com. Content will come up. Yeah, it's the hardest thing, Wendy, isn't it, to have a look at people who are suffering from dementia, and it's can't even contemplate it happening to anyone in my family, but I do think it probably will. Thanks once again for the webinar, Marcus. Just what I needed to watch. I will come on board one day very soon. I don't want to regret missing out. Take care and happy birthday to your daughter. Oh, Heather, you're an angel. My pleasure. As I say, no for now doesn't mean no forever, and it's important to know when the right time is to start the blueprint. If I get my purpose right, then will the finance follow? Don't know where to start. My view is definitely start with your life purpose. Do what makes you happy. There's too many people out there that have chased the money and sacrificed their own personal happiness. And again, read this, and it's a very stark reminder that that's not the way to go about it. Just ask anyone. Literally go into a nursing home or ask grandparents if you have them, Emma, and ask them. The oldest people in the world have so much wisdom to share with us. And I think it's yeah, I truly would say, even if you're not earning much money to begin with out of your life purpose, still toil at that till you work out. Need to get organised for Byron and Leanne. That's cool. Looking forward to having you up here. Cool. Well, I'm happy to hang around, guys. If you've got any other questions, I don't care if they're big, small, or otherwise, let them in. Otherwise, I'll wrap it up shortly. It's been awesome. Good to have so many people on and being able to interact with you guys. Again, it's not real socialising, but the real socialising is coming. If any of you guys are in Melbourne, I'm in Melbourne February 5, the night before the breakthrough. Cannot wait to do a live event. I'm jumping out of my skin. Yes, Emma Fox, spot on what Michelle says. Go to that Karen Smith interview. Karen absolutely loved it. And yeah, it was awesome to interview her. So by all means. But yeah, if you're in Melbourne or you want to come to Melbourne, Feb 5 is the Exceptional You. That's called the Exceptional You, Unleash Your Greatness. Can't wait to do that in a couple of hours. And then for a number of you here already on, it's the Wellness Breakthrough the next day. And that is going to be fun. Good on you, Leanne. Great, you've got the link on your first email. Cool. All right, well, folks, I might wrap this bad boy up. Thank you so much for joining me on this webinar. It's been a blast. You guys are awesome. Your support is incredible. I really look forward to doing another one of these webinars shortly. I'll take a breath and then I'll get stuck into a new chunk of content for you. But in the meantime, as always, continue to make the rest of your life the best of your life. I look forward to seeing a number of you in Melbourne in 3 or 4 weeks' time. And yeah, look after yourself. Stay exceptional.